Okay, in this next section, we're going to talk about walls and wall covering systems, mostly drywall and the interior walls of the house. So a lot of things we see are holes in the walls, missing drywall, mold, water damage. Basically, you just can't have any holes. You can't have any missing or damaged areas. So if there's mold, you want to call that out as not only mold, but drywall removal and replacement. If there's holes in the walls, you want to call that out. Take pictures of it as hole in bedroom one wall or whatever. Fixed drywall. If there's water damage, lots of times it's around chimneys or where tubs and sinks are. You want to call that out. You want to obviously call out what's causing the water damage and then also fix the walls. These examples are just showing you that if something's missing, it's water damaged, it's got holes in it, or if it's got mold, call it out. It needs to be fixed. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal once again, but it all has to function. It has to work. And the surfaces need to be finished surfaces free of damages and missing covering. So it could literally be tiger stripe pink wallpapered walls. It could be ugly as all get out, but if it's safe, secure, and covered and finished, it passes. So they're not looking for pretty, they're looking for safe and function and that it's all there. Okay, now we're going to talk about flooring. This is pretty simple. Flooring has to be finished. You can't be walking on raw plywood and holes in the floor and trip hazards and no thresholds and things like that. So let's dive into this real quick. Once again, FHA and most lenders don't really care what color it is, what kind of flooring it is. You can have, imported marble, or you can have, the cheapest vinyl you can buy. As long as it's all functioning, it's not all tore up, it's not a trip hazard, and it's all covering all of the raw area of the floor, it's going to pass. You can't have broken tiles, you can't have deteriorating wood, trip hazards, all those things raw wood. Pretty much common sense. If it looks like it needs new flooring, it needs new flooring. Now, if the carpet is dirty, if it's dirty beyond repair, you can't clean it because it's just stained and there's, dog and cat stuff all over the place, then you're gonna recommend it replaced. But if it can be cleaned, then you would just recommend it to be cleaned. It doesn't have to be replaced. Okay, now we're going to talk about interior doors and trim. Once again, everything has to function and has to be there. You can't just have missing trim, doors that don't work, no locks on the doors, or let's say a bathroom that doesn't even lock. You want to have a proper knob on something like that. So lots of things that we see are, rotten and deteriorating or just missing trim, holes in doors, holes in walls, dogs and cats tearing up trim, just deterioration around tubs and sinks, things like that. So use common sense here. If it's missing, it needs to be put back. If it's deteriorated or damaged, it needs to be fixed or replaced. And from a door standpoint, it has to open and close and stay shut and function. If it needs to lock, the lock needs to work. And just use common sense once again. Make sure the flooring, the doors, and the trim, they're just not damaged. They're all working. They're not missing. They don't have to be brand new. They don't have to be beautiful and pretty. They just need to work and be safe. Okay, bathrooms. There's usually lots of things that could go wrong with bathrooms because there's a lot of use, a lot of water, a lot of steam. You need venting. You need, all these things that can go wrong with the bathroom. So let's dive into the minimum property standards for the bathrooms. So what you want to do is you examine the bathroom for any damage or improperly functioning items. So lots of things that we'll run into are deteriorating cabinetry where water's got in there, broken faucets, cracked or tubs without the proper glazing or caulking, non-functioning toilets, broken toilets, leaking toilets, damage that's being caused to the floor because of the water that's coming out of the tub or under the sink or things like that. So just use common sense, look at everything. If it functions and it's safe and it's secure and everything works, the stopper works, the faucet works, the plumbing works, nothing's deteriorated. Once again, it doesn't have to be brand new. It doesn't even have to be fancy, but it has to be safe and it has to work. Okay, now kitchens. Kitchens are kind of like bathrooms. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here, a lot of things that get wet, damage, and let's dive into kitchens and what are some of the common things we want to look for. Okay, once again, kitchens, they don't have to be brand new. They don't have to be the Taj Mahal. Everything has to function. So a lot of things we run into are rotten and deteriorating cabinets uh, where the water is getting underneath there, leaking. Um, Faucets that don't work, sinks that don't work, sinks without stoppers. You know, old cabinets where the doors don't close, the drawers are missing, the guides are gone, countertops that are deteriorating, sinks that are failing. Um, there's all kinds of things that go wrong with a kitchen, but at the end of the day, if the countertops are safe and secure, the sinks work, the cabinets all work, the faucets work, nothing's rotten or deteriorating, then that will pass your FHA minimum property standards. So use your common sense. Once again, it doesn't have to be crazily fancy. You can literally have a sink, a cabinet, and a stove and a refrigerator, and that passes FHA minimum property standards. It could be a big box cabinet with a really inexpensive sink, a faucet that works, and a stove and a fridge. As long as everything works, that's considered a kitchen. Okay, obviously most people want nicer kitchens than that, but if you're talking about bare minimum property standards, sink, cabinet, stove, and fridge, that's a kitchen.